Queen Elizabeth's second historic 70-year reign was celebrated across the country. The festivities came to a close on Sunday with the Platinum Jubilee Pageant, which saw thousands of performers take part in a 3-mile procession from Whitehall to Buckingham Palace. It honored Her Majesty's dedicated service, told the story of her 70 years on the throne, and paid special tribute to the country and the Commonwealth. The Queen famously deemed 1992 her annus horribilis, in reference to numerous royal relationship breakdowns and a fire at Windsor Castle. And more recently, 2021 was dubbed the sequel to the historic year of royal scandal. However, while there have been a number of highs throughout the long life of Queen Elizabeth II, there have, of course, been lows. But perhaps a lesser-known royal family scandal was the alleged institutionalization and subsequent abandonment of 2 of the Queen's cousins. The story of the Queen's hidden cousins is incredibly sad, and it's new for many people in the world. But for the royal family and anyone living near Royal Earlswood Mental Hospital, Surrey, it's old news. Nerissa and Catherine Bowes-Lyon were admitted to the asylum at the ages of 15 and 22 due to severe learning difficulties. Despite being closely related to the Queen, they have hidden away, and forever after, life went on as though they didn't exist. Their exact diagnosis remains uncertain, as in the medical terminology used at the time. Nerissa and Catherine were cruelly deemed imbeciles. After their admission in 1941, the sisters were allegedly treated like they never existed by the extended family, a claim that has been denied by their family. Earlswood was not the luxurious lodging to which royal family members were accustomed. It was criticized for sanitation problems and overcrowding, with nurses and relatives of patients recalling an understaffed ward of 40 patients cared for by just 2 nurses. In real life, according to The Independent, Nerissa and Catherine were born in 1919 and 1926, respectively, to John Herbert Bowes-Lyon and his wife, Fenella. John Herbert was the brother of the Queen's mother, also known as Queen Elizabeth, and Princess Margaret's mother, making Nerissa and Catherine the first cousins of the Queen. The Guardian reports that neither woman has any record of visitors during their time at Earlswood, and they didn't receive any money from their family beyond the normal charity amounts the royal gave to Earlswood, said Annelle Braithwaite, who worked with Catherine and Nerissa beginning as a nurse in the 1970s. If the Queen or Queen's mom were ever on television, they'd curtsy. Very regal, very low, obviously. There was some sort of memory. It was so sad. Just think of the life they might have had. They were 2 lovely sisters. They didn't have any speech, but they'd point and make noises. And when you knew them, you could understand what they were trying to say. Today, they'd probably be given speech therapy, and they'd communicate much better. They understood more than you'd think. As if the news of the Bowes-Lyon sisters were not unbelievable enough, it was eventually reported that Catherine and Nerissa were placed at Royal Earlswood on the same day that 3 of their cousins, sisters Idonia, Etheldreda, and Rosemary were also admitted. Genetic experts determined in 1987 that all 5 women suffered from a genetic disorder, which did not affect the Queen or her heirs. Catherine Bowes-Lyon died in 2014 without the royal family ever publicly acknowledging her existence. Without any official explanation from the palace or a more logical explanation from the Bowes-Lyon branch of the family, the public has been left to guess why relatives locked Nerissa and Catherine away and declared them dead. In 1987, an editor for Debrett said, "It would seem to me that their mother had more or less rejected them in her mind as being her daughters. She has 5 daughters, and these 2, unfortunately, seem to be born mentally disturbed, and that in her own mind she shut them out." Meanwhile, others told the press that what happened to Nerissa and Catherine was fairly standard practice all those years ago. People went into long-stay mentally handicapped hospitals, and to all intents and purposes, they were dead. Rather, Lady Elizabeth said Fenella was a very vague person who hadn't filled out Burke's peerage documentation properly or completely. The public was made aware that the Bowes-Lyon cousins had been alive and residing at the Royal Earlswood after Nerissa Bowes-Lyon died in 1986. Her grave near the hospital was discovered by journalists. It was a plastic marker with her name and a serial number. Sometime before her death, a man posing as a relative of Catherine's visited her. At the Surrey Hospital. In reality, he was working for the British tabloids. He snapped the picture of a frail Catherine sitting in a chair, looking confused. Soon after, it was splashed across the Monday morning front page of The Sun. Queen's cousin locked in a madhouse. When the royal wedding of Prince Charles and Princess Diana was televised in 1981, those at the asylum saw Nerissa and Catherine excitedly approach the TV when the Queen arrived at St. Paul's Cathedral. The women, who immediately recognized their first cousin, stood close to the TV. One of them even appeared to be Curtsy. Britain's Open University's professor in the history of learning disabilities, Jan Walmsley, told Channel 4 that mental health problems were once seen as a threat to society and had links to criminal behavior. These beliefs were prevalent at the time the sisters were sent away. The belief was if you had a child with a learning disability, there was something in your family that was suspect or wrong, she explained. The Bowes-Lyons were frightened that the stigma of having two mentally unwell children would threaten their social standing and ruin their marital prospects of their other children. In The Crown, the Queen Mother explains, "I went from being the wife of the Duke of York, leading a relatively normal life, to being queen. At the same time, my family, the Bowes-Lyons, went from being minor Scottish aristocrats to having a direct bloodline to the crown, resulting in the children of my brother paying a terrible price. Their illness, their imbecility, would make people question the integrity of the bloodline. The discovery that two royal cousins lived that way in secret was a scandal for Buckingham Palace. A spokesman said at the time that the Queen knew about Nerissa and Catherine's situation, but it was a matter of the immediate Bowes-Lyon family." In 1996, the administrator of the hospital, Peter Kinsey, contacted the next of kin of all patients to inform them of Earlswood's shutdown and discuss the next steps. Kinsey contacted the Queen and the Queen Mother, but both declined to take a meeting about Catherine's future, and Buckingham Palace released no comment. The sisters' tragic story was portrayed in the 4th season of the popular Netflix series, The Crown. Idonia and Catherine both had a mental age of around 6 and were said to be inseparable, but they were, in fact, separated when Idonia was sent to another care home shortly before her death in 2002. Catherine lived on until 2014. However, the royals were reportedly not pleased with the show's depiction of Nerissa and Catherine being abandoned by the family. The hereditary principle already hangs by such a precarious thread, the Queen Mother explains in the season 4 episode. Throw in mental illness, and it's over. The idea that one family alone has the automatic birthright to the crown is already so hard to justify. The gene pool of that family better have 100% purity. They have been enough examples of the Windsor side alone to worry people. King George III, Prince John, your uncle. If you add the Bowes-Lyons' illnesses to that, the danger is it becomes untenable. Like many other former employees wronged by an institution, Meghan Markle is speaking out about what caused her to leave the loftiest of gigs, life as a working princess in the UK. The source said that Meghan's remarks to The Cut and on her Archetype podcast, where she notably discussed how she had to keep doing events even after her son Archie's nursery caught on fire during her and Prince Harry's South Africa tour, mark a loss of trust from the royal family. The firm, as the institution is known as in the UK, has long stood by a never complain, never explain policy. The source said the royal family is disappointed by Meghan Markle's latest comments in The Cut magazine, and on her podcast, they are distressed that after stepping back from the royal family, claiming a need for privacy, she continues to publicize family matters in public. Philip did develop a reputation for being a ladies' man, which showrunners have alluded to on several occasions. Remember how he went absolutely bonkers at the chance to meet Jackie Onassis, the late John F. Kennedy's wife, when she visited Buckingham Palace. Here's the thing though. There's never been any documented proof of Prince Philip's reported infidelity. There were rumors that he had been romantically linked to a dancer by the name of Pat Kirkwood, a stage actress who had her legs described by drama critic Kenneth Tynan as the eighth wonder of the world. Sadly enough, the rumors about her affair were disastrous to Pat's reputation, as the palace did not quell them. According to the Daily Beast, for years, the actress's work was defined by the gossip, but letters between the two that were discovered decades later reportedly contained no language to suggest that they were anything more than friends. Let us know your opinion about the royal family in the comment section below. Do not forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel to find out more dark facts. Stay safe, and we'll be back soon with another video.